Hey, 49ers fans. Today we're diving into something that's been a hot topic for years, yet somehow remains shrouded in curiosity and debate. The injury history of the San Francisco 49ers. Ever since Kyle Shanahan took over as head coach in 2017, this team has had an unusually high number of injuries, and it has sparked countless conversations, rumors, and theories across the league. But let's step back for a moment and examine what's really going on behind the scenes, because what I'm about to share comes from an insider with years of experience working as an athletic trainer across multiple NFL teams and top college football programs. This isn't speculation. It's insight from someone who understands the nuances of elite-level player conditioning, strength training, and injury prevention. The first thing to understand is that the 49ers, as an organization, approach strength and conditioning differently than most NFL teams. That's not a judgment, it's just a fact. The philosophy here extends beyond simple weightlifting routines or standard physical therapy protocols. The head athletic trainer, Dustin Little, has developed his own methodology, one that influences everything from weight training to movement mechanics, stretching routines, and overall player conditioning. While some of these approaches may seem unconventional compared to other teams, the idea is to maintain a highly physical roster that can compete in one of the most demanding and punishing leagues in professional sports. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The league itself is filled with experts who constantly compare notes on what works and what doesn't when it comes to player health. Strength and conditioning coaches, physical therapists, and athletic trainers talk frequently about the methods each team employs, and the 49ers strategies have caught attention, sometimes for being effective, other times for raising questions. What my source explained is that the Niners' training techniques differ enough from the mainstream approach that players coming from college or other NFL teams may need time to adapt. Their bodies, which are already elite and conditioned, sometimes encounter new stresses or movements that they're not accustomed to, and this adjustment period can inadvertently contribute to injuries. It's not about blame. It's about understanding the complexity of human physiology at the professional athletic level. For instance, let's consider soft tissue injuries, which include hamstring strains, calf pulls, and other muscle-related setbacks. These types of injuries are often preventable when training techniques are carefully aligned with a player's prior experience and current conditioning. Yet the 49ers consistently rank among the top 10 teams in injury frequency each year, with notable exceptions, such as the 2023 season, which seemed to go relatively smoothly. Beyond bad luck or freak accidents, which certainly do occur in a collision sport like football, some of these injuries can be traced to differences in training philosophy. Introducing novel techniques, even with the best intentions, sometimes places a player's body in unfamiliar positions, and that moment of unfamiliarity can be enough for a soft tissue injury to occur. Dynamic stretching is another example. The Niners favor dynamic stretching before practices rather than static stretching, which is what many other teams still emphasize. Dynamic stretching focuses on movement-based exercises that warm muscles actively, while static stretching typically involves holding a position for a set period. Both have their merits, but the 49ers method is a departure from the norm. Whether this contributes to injuries or not is hard to quantify, yet it demonstrates how a team's unique approach can differ substantially from league-wide practices. Little's influence is significant here, as he has been a steady presence within the organization for more than 6 years, overseeing conditioning routines that reflect his philosophy while also accommodating Shanahan's coaching style. It's also important to note that the Niners' injury record is not entirely a matter of their methods being wrong. The training techniques have helped the team maintain a physical edge, which aligns with their identity as one of the most hard-hitting teams in the league. They do not suffer a high number of contact-related injuries. Rather, the majority of setbacks involve soft tissue, which, as we mentioned, is often preventable under certain circumstances. My source emphasized that other factors such as bad luck, collisions, or the sheer violence inherent in football will always play a role. Players like Fred Warner, for example, have experienced injuries due to circumstances beyond anyone's control, where ankles twist or legs get rolled in a way that no training regimen could anticipate. Yet when looking at the broader picture, including thousands of games lost to injury since 2017, it's reasonable to examine whether specific training methods may have amplified the risk for avoidable injuries. Another dimension to this discussion involves the off-season. Many players train with private coaches or external programs to maintain peak performance. While this helps to an extent, once the season begins, they operate within the Niners system, following Dustin Little's protocols. The consistency of Little's methods across multiple seasons highlights how a team's philosophy can have long-term consequences, both positive and negative. And the interesting part is that people within the NFL, particularly those in health and wellness roles, notice these patterns. They observe which teams consistently have injuries, they discuss training styles, and they try to identify the underlying causes. When a team like the 49ers repeatedly ranks near the top of the league for injury frequency, it naturally attracts scrutiny from peers who are deeply invested in optimizing player health. Even environmental factors come into play. The Niners practice facility is located near an electrical substation, which has raised some speculation in conversations about EMF exposure affecting recovery and contributing to injuries, though the research is still emerging. What's clear is that any factor that could influence recovery or tissue resilience is worth discussing, because the league and its athletes are constantly searching for advantages, and health is a critical part of that equation. From a broader perspective, understanding why the 49ers have historically faced so many injuries requires examining the intersection of philosophy, science, and experience. Players enter the NFL already strong, athletic, and highly trained. The role of a professional strength and conditioning staff is to enhance and maintain that foundation. But when you introduce new techniques, novel stressors, or different movement patterns, adaptation is required. Sometimes the adaptation goes smoothly, and sometimes the body reacts with injury. It's not a condemnation of the staff or the players. It's the complexity of elite sports performance. Continuing on the topic of the 49ers' injury history, one of the most fascinating aspects of this conversation is how much of it comes down to philosophy and approach rather than simple right or wrong answers. In the NFL, every team has its own culture and methods, and the Niners are no exception. Dustin Little's style is distinctive, and that consistency over the last 6 years has defined how the team conditions its players. From weightlifting to mobility drills to recovery sessions and physical therapy, Little's influence is evident across the entire roster. It's not a critique. It's a recognition that the 49ers have carved out their own identity, even in something as intricate as strength and conditioning. What my source emphasized is that player adaptation is a key factor. Every athlete comes from a different background. Some arrive from college programs with specific training regimens. Others have experience in professional leagues with their own conditioning philosophies. When a player encounters techniques that are unfamiliar, whether it's a movement pattern, a new lifting protocol, or a unique method of recovery, the body has to adjust. This adjustment period is often invisible but can have tangible consequences. Soft tissue injuries, which are the majority of what the Niners face, often happen during this adaptation window, not necessarily because the methods are flawed, but because the human body is highly sensitive to sudden changes in physical demand. It's a delicate balance between building strength, enhancing performance, and preventing injuries, and even the most carefully designed programs can sometimes be imperfect. The conversation also touched on something that many fans might not realize: the level of scrutiny and discussion that happens within the NFL's health and wellness community. Strength and conditioning coaches, athletic trainers, and physical therapists communicate across teams, sharing insights, debating techniques, and observing injury trends. When a team like the 49ers experiences frequent injuries, it doesn't go unnoticed. These patterns become talking points among professionals who are constantly trying to improve their understanding of player health. It's not about gossip. It's about problem-solving, research, and professional curiosity. The Niners' practices, routines, and recovery protocols are all part of that ongoing dialogue. And there's a science to all of this. The human body is remarkably resilient, but it's also vulnerable to subtle stresses that may not appear immediately. Dynamic stretching, specialized weightlifting, and tailored movement exercises can all be beneficial, but if they differ too drastically from what a player has previously learned, the risk of minor injuries rises. My source made it clear that these injuries are often avoidable, not inevitable, which is an important distinction. While the league will always involve contact and high-impact collisions, a large portion of soft tissue injuries could potentially be minimized through careful adjustment, monitoring, and incremental adaptation to new techniques. Another interesting point is the balance between maintaining a physical identity and preventing injuries. The 49ers have always been known for their toughness, their willingness to play physically, and their commitment to dominating at the line of scrimmage. That identity comes with trade-offs. The methods employed to build and sustain that physicality can sometimes expose players to a higher risk of muscle strains or similar issues. The Niners are willing to accept certain risks to maintain their style of play, and that's a deliberate organizational choice. It's part of what has made them competitive, and it's part of why they've also faced challenges in keeping players healthy. In addition to methodology, there's the matter of longevity. The Niners' injury record is not just a short-term trend. It spans nearly a decade. Thousands of games lost to injury since 2017 illustrate a systemic pattern, one that is difficult to ignore. While luck certainly plays a role, unexpected twists, collisions, and freak accidents happen. Patterns over multiple seasons suggest that training philosophy, adaptation challenges, and even environmental factors might be contributing. This is not to point fingers, but to provide insight into why the team has consistently faced these challenges despite having world-class facilities and top-tier medical staff. Even outside of training techniques, there are factors like electromagnetic fields near the facility, which have sparked some conversations regarding recovery and muscle health. While the research is still developing, it reflects the level of attention that the team and professionals pay to every possible variable affecting player performance. Nothing is taken lightly. Strength and conditioning, weightlifting, stretching, and physical therapy are all interconnected, and a seemingly small deviation in one area can ripple across an athlete's body. That's why discussions about injury prevention in the NFL are so intricate, nuanced, and sometimes counterintuitive. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In what could be one of the most shocking moves of the NFL offseason, whispers are swirling around the league that DK Metcalf, the powerhouse wide receiver long associated with Seattle, is making a dramatic switch to the San Francisco 49ers. While nothing has been officially confirmed, sources close to the situation suggest that Metcalf's move could immediately reshape the dynamics of the NFC West, a division already brimming with intensity and fierce rivalries. Metcalf, known for his rare combination of size, speed, and catching ability, has been a cornerstone of Seattle's offense for years. Fans of the Seahawks are reportedly stunned by the prospect of seeing their star receiver donning the red and gold of San Francisco. Meanwhile, 49ers faithful are buzzing with anticipation, imagining the explosive potential of pairing Metcalf with their dynamic offense. The mere thought of him facing his former team twice a season has sparked wild speculation about what this could mean for the balance of power in the division. Insiders hint that contract negotiations have been quietly progressing behind the scenes, with both parties eager to make a splash before the next season kicks off. Metcalf's move would not just be a transaction, it could be a statement. Analysts are already debating how his presence might alter defensive schemes, force Seattle to rethink its receiving core, and elevate San Francisco's passing game to new heights. Social media is alight with rumors, memes, and heated debates, with fans split between outrage and excitement. The narrative practically writes itself. The man who once tormented defenders in a Seahawks jersey might now be the nightmare in a rival's colors. Some say this could ignite one of the fiercest chapters in NFC West history, rekindling old grudges and setting the stage for fiery matchups. Whether it's a strategic masterstroke or an emotional gamble, the buzz surrounding DK Metcalf's potential move is undeniable. In a league defined by unpredictability, This rumor alone is enough to keep fans on the edge of their seats, counting down the days until the next clash between these bitter division foes. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.